Welcome to today's quiz where we look at 10 questions on International Financial Reporting Standard 18, that is IFRS 18. And we want to test your knowledge of this new standard which comes into effect soon. So if you're ready, let's do so. My name is Echela Okori, Finance Simplifier. Question number 1. What is IFRS 18 and what does it replace? Going, and gone. Do you have the correct answer? Write your answer. Write question 1 in the comment section and tell us what your answer is. If you have the correct answer, do so. Now, IFRS 18 is presentation and disclosure in financial statements. It is a new standard that replaces IAS 1, presentation of financial statements. It focuses on the profit or loss account. That's what it focuses on. It does not focus on the other financial statements. It basically, it focuses on statement of profit or loss. So it retains some of IAS 1 paragraphs, especially paragraph 1, and then other principles are moved to IAS 8, and also some are moved to IFRS 7. That is financial instrument disclosure. IAS 8 used to be called accounting policies, changes in accounting estimates and errors. It will now be known as basis of preparation of financial statements with effect from January 1, 2027. Question number 2. When was IFRS 18 issued and by whom? Yes. So, do you have the correct answer? All right, let's go. So, IFRS 18, that's presentation and disclosure in financial statement, was approved for issue in April 2024. And all 14 members of the IASB, that's the International Accounting Standard Board, approved the standard for issue. It was formally issued on April 9, 2024. And it is to replace IAS 1. We'll move on to question number 3. Question number 3. When does IFRS 18 become effective? When does it become effective? When does it become mandatory? Well, for annual reporting periods that begin from 1st of January 2027 and after, it becomes effective from January 1, 2027. That is the answer. So, including interim financial statements and, of course, earlier application is permitted. That means if you want to apply IFRS 18 before that date, before 1st January 2027, you are permitted to do so, but you must disclose that you are applying the standard before it becomes mandatory. Question number 4. What are the 3 main new requirements IFRS 18 introduces? The IFRS Foundation explains what these requirements are, the 3 main requirements, okay? And the first one is it requires an entity to present 2 new subtotals. These subtotals are compulsory. One is operating profit subtotal. The other one is profit or loss before financing and income taxes. They were not compulsory before. In fact, they were not always there before. But now that change has made it a requirement. Secondly, there is the management defined performance measures, how it should be treated. By management defined performance measures, we're talking of those subtotals in the income statement which are used by management and usually adjusted in communicating to the public, in making press releases when management wants to talk about the company. So there are new requirements. The requirement is that you have to disclose them in the notes to the account. And the second requirement is that there has to be a formal reconciliation to the subtotals inside the income statement. So the third one is there is a principle on aggregation and disaggregation. The principle of aggregation and disaggregation is that items that are materially different should not be lumped up together. You can only lump up items that are materially similar. So that is the guide, that is the principle as far as IFRS 18 is concerned. Now, number 5. Into how many categories must income and expenses be classified, and what are they? So we have operating, that's a new category. The second category, you have investing category, you have financing category, you have income tax category, and you have discontinued operation category. So basically, the operating, investing, and financing are actually new. Income taxes category has always been there. And also the discontinued operation is not a new one. But now the IFRS 18 wants these 3 new categories to add up so that we'll have 5 categories in the profit or loss, another comprehensive income statement. Good. Question number 6. How is the operating category defined? The operating category is where we capture what has to do with the ordinary course of the business. That's the main business of the organization. And it is also the default. In other words, for any item that does not fit into the other categories, it has to fall back to the default, which is the operating category. So typically, it is income and expenses from an entity's main business, which I already explained, the entity's main business activities. And any income and expenses not classified in other categories is going to fall in there. Question number 7. What are the investing and financing categories? Now, the investing category covers activity from equity investment, that is associates and joint ventures, income or loss from other investments, and interest income from cash and cash equivalents. The financing category, on the other hand, covers activity on liabilities and the impact of interest rate fluctuations on liabilities such as pension discount rates. So classification can also depend on an entity's main business activity. For example, interest income may be classified as operating if it is a bank or financial institution, but as an investing for a manufacturer. Question number 8. What subtotals are now mandatory in the statement of profit or loss? The subtotals, one is operating profit. It is compulsory, it's mandatory. The second one is profit or loss before financing and income taxes. So IFRS 18 requires certain totals and subtotals. You must have operating profit or loss. You must have profit or loss before financing. You must have profit or loss before income taxes. You must have income taxes, and you have profit or loss. So all entities must present an operating profit subtotal through the composition of operating profit, though the composition of operating profit will vary depending on an entity's main business activities. Question number 9. What are management-defined performance measures? What do we mean by management-defined performance measures? And what must be disclosed? MPMs, as they are called, are subtotals of income and expense used in public communication when management is communicating with the public to convey management's view of the company's financial performance. And commonly we have adjusted EBITDA, that is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. Also, we have underlying profit, and we also have what we call adjusted operating profit. So these are all subtotals in the income statement that management adjusts and use in communicating to the public, making press releases. So usually in the past, they were mostly just made up. But now IFRS 18 wants disclosure on them in the notes, and also wants a formal reconciliation with those compulsory line items. So the IFRS defined subtotals, these subtotals I will just explain. If you use an MPM, like adjusted EBITDA, like adjusted operating profit, like adjusted underlying profit, you have to formally reconcile it with those line items in the income statement. It must not be something that you just fabricated and gave to the public. Okay. Question number 10, the last one. Does IFRS 18 change how profit or net income is measured? And must it be applied retrospectively? The new standard does not change net profit. Your net profit will remain the same, whether you use the old rules of IAS 1 or you use the new rules of IFRS 18. But it promotes a more structured income statement. The difference is that classification and presentation will become more structured, and also it is more detailed. More details are required to be disclosed. So IFRS 18 must be applied retrospectively in accordance with IAS 8, meaning comparative period need to be restated into the new category structure. So if you are doing a comparative, if you do your 2027 account, then you have to restate 2026 as a comparative so that comparability can be enabled. So I want to know how you performed in this quiz. I want you to drop your comment in the comment section and tell me how many you got right. So if you enjoyed this, I want you to like, to share with someone, and let's meet in the next video.